for this talk, oh yeah, and it's a subject that's different from what we've been hearing up to now about medicinal plants, mainly various other stuff. For this talk, I pulled together a number of ideas that I have about people, agroecosystems, and weeds in Mexico. You won't see a single data point or chart or something like that. A lot of it has some evidence to support it, some of other observations. If you want to have a reference list, you can email me my email on the last slide. We will first talk about what is a weed, then about why are Mesoamerican weeds different, and then what consequences do these differences have. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the concept, Mesoamerica is an area that varies depending on who you talk to. But it starts somewhere in northern Mexico, or central Mexico. It goes down to Central America. Some people have it until up to the Isthmus. But somewhere around there, and it is, of course, one of the areas of origin of agriculture. And then we will talk about the consequences that these differences have. Now, if you ask an agronomist what a weed is, they will tell you it's an ornamental plant other place. Some ecologists think that they are pioneers. However, this does not include the fact that these species have co-evolved with humans for a couple thousand years. There are some new species that have formed at that time. So a more appropriate definition for me is plants that form populations in environments strongly modified by humans without their direct help. That is, weeds are basically human creations, just like domesticated plants, just with a little bit different selection pressures. A little bit of history of the region. Humans arrived in the Americas during the last ice age, about 20,000 to 30,000 years ago. There was some evidence for some earlier populations, but those were small. The vegetation that is more or less similar to what we have today, well, started after the last ice age. Of course, there were some fluctuations, but we have to keep in mind that the vegetation was under human influence all this time. Fire, agriculture started pretty soon, and general mayhem. That is, Mesoamerica is a cultural landscape, just like the Mediterranean and the Near East, and some areas in China. With the special feature that the early hunters killed off all the large animals, so they didn't have anything to domesticate anymore. We just had turkeys and dogs, which do not influence vegetation all that much. Until the arrival of the Spaniards, of course. Now, why are Mesoamerican weeds different? There are a number of factors, but I'm going to treat three main ones. One is the size of the main crop. The other is the already mentioned absence of domesticated animals. And finally, the ecological origin of the domesticated plants. We'll talk about these one by one. Now, the consequence of the size of the main crop is that the weeds also have to be big. Not all of them. There are some small ones, shade tolerant and so on, but there are quite a lot of really large weeds. Also, pollination by wind is not quite as efficient for some reason, other reasons also, but just in a maize field, well, there isn't that much wind. So a lot of the pollination and dispersal is done either by animals or by the plants themselves, which means that we have a lot of attractive flowers and a lot of ornamentals that come out of the system. And finally, people can walk around in the fields, which they cannot do in a wheat or in a rice field. That means they can intercrop. And this leads to the system that we call milpa, which is made with associated both crops and useful non-crops. Here's a picture of some of the large weeds that we have. These are titonias, and there are also some vines and so on down there. This is Clanwilliam walking in his milpa. Now this idea that you can combine maize with other stuff, usually the classic thing is various beans and various squashes, is not exclusive to Mesoamericans. Anywhere else where maize went, people have the same idea. The picture on the right, you can see some maize is back there. This is a garden of some church in Germany. Well, jumping a little bit, an agricultural system that is successful needs to provide certain goods to the population. Has to provide carbohydrates, proteins, fats and oils, and minerals and vitamins, at least to a certain extent. If not, people will get ill and will not be able to defend themselves all that well. Now, where does this type of food come from in Mesoamerica? Well, you already guessed it. It comes from the milpas. That is, the milpa is also the vegetable garden. The vegetable component of the food system. Whereas the field margins are also very interesting in nobody studying them. That's where, like, the less valuable perennial plants are. Agaves, pears, longanthus, mill plants, and so on. And in home gardens, they exist. But they don't have this vegetable garden that we are used to from the European cultural background. There you have high-value perennial plants, those required in small quantities, which are maybe condiments and medicinal and trees, of course. This is what we usually think a home garden should look like. This is in Austria. Yeah. This is what the vegetable garden looks like in Mesoamerica. Europeans always horrible, disorderly, so on. But if we look at it, it has a lot of stuff in there. It doesn't only have maize. It has fruit plants. This is an allium. These are sweet potatoes, some semi-wild tomatoes. This is a wild plant where you can eat both the fruit and the salami, where you can eat both the fruit and the leaves. Prickly pear. This is a palm that has edible young shoots. This one. Even coffee. And the farmer planted some timber trees, which will grow and produce some timber once the milpa is gone. This is a milpa that was in the Chirantics, which is one group of Indians. And this is a Lacandon milpa. And we also have the same type of thing in the highlands. Also, there has been quite a lot of work on incipient domestication of these plants. We have seen that a lot of these species have selected populations in the field. Even though they seed themselves, they have larger leaves genetically. These are generally common gardening experiments and so on. They have larger leaves, more attractive fruit or whatever, than the wild populations. The opposite also holds true. Once you don't have any milpas anymore because you went into commercial agriculture, you start cultivating a lot of stuff. And also there is the reverse process. This here is Brassica oleracea, the cabbage. In Chiapas you will find these plants as semi-wild plants in the milpas. That is, there has been a sort of reversal of the domestication that you observe in Europe. And these are the food margins. Everything you see there is useful. And of course, there are the home gardens with fruits and so on, and some ornaments. Okay, so that was a large picture of the crop. Now we go to the consequences of the absence of domesticated animals. Mesoamericans did not have animals that the Europeans and Chinese used to transfer nutrients from the natural vegetation where the animals pasture to their fields. So they developed very sophisticated and regulated switching or slash and burn systems with their associated weeds that are adapted to it, which is basically another way of using natural vegetation as a source of nutrients. And also they have legumes and green vegetables, which can be a good source of protein if you eat enough of them, are important because of the rarity of meat. Of course, people hunt and so on, but it's not such a regular source. People get very upset about this type of thing, slash and burn. But if you think about it, if you send animals to the forest, they also waste about 90% of the energy they ingest as heat. So it's not really all that more efficient than this is, which is a lot more notable. Okay, this is a milpa on. So milpas are also the only way to exploit a lot of very poor places. Okay, so that was the animals. Now the ecological origin of the domesticated plants. In Mesoamerica, most of the domesticated plants come from the dry tropics. And they also come from places that are patchy. There are usually weedy plants that come up in landslides and where the vegetation opened up for one reason or the other. They are short-day plants with summer germination. A lot of the fall, autumn domesticated plants in Europe or in South America in South Africa are of Mexican origin or Mesoamerican origin. The populations, because of this, are also patchy in nature. They do not form large populations as the populations of the wild plants, domesticated plants. Well, the wild relatives of the domesticated plants in the Near East, many are derived from perennial species, and pollination, because of this patchy nature, pollination and dispersion is by animals, not by wind and little autonomy. Now, if we see this is a hillside in the Balsas River Basin, where a lot of the domesticated plants come from. We already see some of these large trees there. This is St. Genus, a lot of other stuff in there. And if we look at it closely, this is wild maize with wild beans. And you can also, if you look close enough, you can find some squashes. And of course, some pretty flowers. Summing up, Mesoamerican weeds are different because of the large stature of the main crop. That makes intercropping possible, and the milpa, the vegetable garden, without much necessity of additional labor input. I think this is also the reason why in Mexico there have been innumerable schemes to try to introduce, to make people have vegetable gardens, which is not usually very successful. The absence of domesticated animals has led to highly developed swing systems with adapted plants, and the patchy nature of the wild ancestors of crops and weedy populations make wing pollination and dispersal inefficient. Finally, the only other region in the world that has large statured main cereal crops is basically Africa with its large millets. So it would be interesting to see if there have been some similar adaptations here. This is, by the way, a picture of one of the DB recipients a couple of years ago. If I know this. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect timing. I didn't have to give you the one finger.